The guy that comes to the schools and when you're in elementary school and teaches you to drop and roll and how not to burn yourself. Yeah, so.
The time is 5:34. Going to call this work session to order. Councilmember Yarborough, Councilmember Rodriguez, Councilmember Mize, Councilmember Cornelison, and Mayor Pro Tem Pappenfuss are present. A quorum is present. We have no public that showed up, so there will be no public discussion. We'll move on to the work session. Number 1, discuss the master fee schedule, including water, wastewater rates, and garbage fees. Ma'am?
So you have in front of you a communicator, and it's, in the very first page, it shows your current master fee schedule, and I made a few little notes on that. On page 1, where you actually increased your water impact fee, your sewer impact fee, I have some notes on 2 different ones. Hang on just a second.
I'm sorry, ma'am, did you say where we did or we are?
You have. You've
Okay.
already done that. You did it in 2022, and it went into effect in 2023, if I'm not mistaken. On page 2, I wanted to point out on these accident reports under public safety, just so we can make some notes real quick in what you currently have.
Are you on the chart or are you on the type pages?
I'm on your master fee schedule, your current master fee schedule. Under public safety, for a copy of an accident report, you can, if you don't mind changing that for me to $10, and it is through a third-party company.
It's 16 of 16.
Yeah, here, public safety.
You're on the 1, 2, 3, 4th page of the master fee schedule. Don't look it down at the bottom. That has to do with the ordinance that when you adopted this back in 2020 when it was changed.
What do you want us to change?
Under the public safety, for a copy of an accident report, that's $10 through a third party. Under criminal history check, that needs to be scratched. Fingerprinting for the public for $8, scratch the $8.
Ours said 10.
Huh?
Ours says 10.
Does yours say 10?
10 per card.
Oh, 10 per card, yeah.
Scratch that.
No, just scratch the $8 for the criminal history check. And then on the fingerprinting, leave that as 10, I'm sorry. Down a little bit further, under foster home inspections, daycare, health facility inspections, and permits required by the fire code, that just little group. The only 2 we're gonna change right now is going to be foster home inspections and daycare inspections. And if you would, just make a note, BV, because Bureau Veritas will be implementing those inspections. On junk vehicle removal, if you'll make a line through it where it says 100 per occurrence, leave cost to the, and we're gonna add to the owner. On a junk vehicle removal, it is a very long process. We can't just go into somebody's property and remove a junk vehicle. There's a long process and it goes through a court process. So once we do that and we have someone pick it up, it'll be the cost for the owner to provide to come get that car back if they want it. So those are just some little cleanups I wanted to make sure you had. One more I forgot about, and I'll get to the reason I'm asking you to scratch this.
You mind if I confirm this one real quick?
Uh-huh.
$10 on the copy fee for accident reports, scratch the criminal history check for 8.
Yep.
Foster home and daycare inspections go to BV now.
Right. Well, yes, it'll be a pass-through.
Pass through, right. And junk vehicle removal is cost to the owner.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me take you back up to the top of that page real quick on pavilion utilities usage fee. We want to leave the electrical and the water there, but I would like to remove, and I think you probably already have it on yours, where it says bounce house. It already should be marked out on your copy, I hope. And I'll get to that, why we're going to do that later, or why we need to do that later. So on your next one, I'm showing you your current and proposed fee schedule changes that I'm proposing. These have to do with your water fees, what you're currently at, and what your proposals are. Have you had time to look at any of these? Because I don't want to go over every one of them with you. Is there any of these that you have questions on?
Is this from the 2022 study that was done?
Yes,
what-
and it's in here. It's in your packet.
Right,
There
I
was a-
saw that. Is that still good, do you think?
I added a little bit of a percentage to it, not much. I was gonna have an analysis for you today, but we did cutoffs, and Lori was really busy with us. We're working in utilities, but I can do an analysis through the utility billing in Encode, and it'll kind of give you an idea of what those costs are gonna be. But we looked at where you were in 2021, 22 from the rate study, and kind of did a CPI increase,
Okay.
is what we looked at.
I had a question
Uh-huh.
on the garbage. So it shows now as 1907, proposed as 1960, it's a 55-cent difference. Are we
Mm-hmm.
gonna add an admin fee being that we have to do all the processing on the
That's
y'all's
already,
end?
that's already in there.
It is on there, okay.
Yeah. That is, and that's something we just have to do. There is a rate increase from Frontier Waste that's in here at 2.86%. I think the last year you had one, it was 4.86%. I didn't see anywhere where that increased. So the city probably absorbed that increase. And so this amount is an increase of 2.8%. So we are gonna pass it on to the consumer.
So is this is this a pass-through, or is this with admin?
There's admin fees in it,
Okay,
and the 2.8%
Okay.
is an increase for the CPI for 23-24, which begins in April.
Stupid question. So is the goal of all of these fees to do a pass-through concept, or is it to make money?
Well,
A little bit, anyway.
you are making a little bit on your garbage rates. I'm trying to get you up to where you probably should be on your water rates.
What I'm saying is, what is the typical, how does it typically work in a municipality?
Depending on what kind of fee you're talking about. I mean,
Just these, water fees, garbage, et cetera. Is it designed as pass-through, or do we make money on it?
no, you usually make money off those.
Usually make money, okay.
Yeah, that's the object, is to make money off those, because that's what pays for your infrastructure improvements. So if you're not making money, then you don't have the money to do your infrastructure. And one of the things that, when I looked through your rate study, what they had proposed is to do up to 1,500 gallons in the 2650. So the first 1,500 gallons you're giving to everyone. I'm proposing that you drop that, and you only give them 1,000 gallons in their rate, in their base rate.
Is this residential?
Yes.
What's the
And
average
I
usage?
separated it.
What's the average usage, do you think, for residential customers?
It's hard to tell right now because the bills are so far behind, but I would say 1,500 gallons is your low-end user. And doing a tier like this helps when you're trying to work with those that really don't use the water, so they're not paying for all of that increase. It's actually pushed over to the ones who actually use all the water, who are your high users.
Okay.
High-end users. That's why we went to the first 1,000 gallons at $30.50, which is only about a $4 increase. It's not much, but it's something to start with. And it probably needs to be looked at again at budget time, just so that you're where the proposal said that you should be. Same thing on your sewer rates. we went and looked at those and looked at the study that was done on your sewer rates. One of the things I'm proposing currently, what you're calling winter averaging is January, February, March, which is really not winter months, because then your rate doesn't come out till April. If you'll back it up to December, January, February, that's truly your winter months. And that's where your averaging comes in a little bit better, because people aren't watering their yard December, January, February most of the time. So that'll give you a better look at what it says that you're doing. And in the code, it says you're doing it by winter rates or winter time. So that's truly your winter time. Anybody have any other questions on the commercial rates or any of the water rates? We will have to have a public hearing to change the water rates and the sewer rates. I have to do a 30-day, I believe. I looked it up in the water code. We have to do a 30-day publication and a public hearing in order to adopt the water rates. I can bring back some of the other stuff, like the garbage rates, because that's just gonna go on whether we want it to or not. So I could bring that back, March the 19th, because I think on those, I only have to have a 10-day public hearing notice. Is that right, Lindsay? On the rate? I think so, but I think it is. I don't know, right off the top of my head. I think it's 10 days, but I can double check. Anyways, we can bring that one back a little bit quicker, but then your water and your sewer rates, once I've had that 30 days to publish, then we can have a hearing and adopt those. So it'll probably come out about the time we get ready to do your sewer averaging by what you currently have. And so that'll help a little bit, but it'll change rates. If you adopt it, then the rate will change, but we'll still do it at the same time and go ahead and get that covered. That way we're good for this year, and then come December, January, February of next year, then we're ready to do the new sewer rates, or the new averaging way, I should say, in the months that we average.
On the water, we've increased, if they continue, if they use the 1,500 gallons, we've increased their cost by $14 a month.
Right now, if they use, yeah,
Yeah, that's too.
Yeah.
That's too much. I understand we need to raise it, but, that'd be like, heck, that's what, 20%? I think my water bill is like $73 normally,
well,
if it's straight.
it's 500 gallons is what you're giving them. You're giving them 1,500 right now.
Yeah, we're giving them 15, now we're dropping that to 1,000.
So it'd be $2.04 per 1,000 gallons.
Yeah, that's 10.40.
So
So we've raised
for-
everybody's water bill right off the bat, not everybody's,
I don't think it's
understand, but
14, I think it's like $8, if they're a 1,500 gallon user.
Okay, maybe
Because
my
it's
math's wrong.
$4 from the base. And then if they're only using 1,500 gallons, then it's only $2.40 for that other 1,000 gallons, for the next 1,000.
I think what he's asking
Does that
too is
make
our
sense?
sewer and our water on the same bill.
Oh,
So our water is a $4 difference, but our sewer is a $14.35
No,
difference.
I mean, if, right now, if I use $15,000, 1,500 gallons, I pay, what was it, $26.50 for that. If I use 1,500 gallons now, my bill is now,
$30,
$40.40. 5 times 2.4 is $10.40, right?
No,
So I've increased my bill extraordinarily.
it's $30.50 for your base, which is 1,000 gallons.
Yep.
And if you're using another 1,000 gallons, it's $2.04 for each 1,000 that you use.
Right, but it's just
I come up to $32.54.
But if I use 500 gallons, okay, never mind, now, okay. I was, again, thousands and hundreds messing with me.
Yeah,
there.
it's thousands.
Yeah,
Now, your sewer is a little bit higher. The sewer rates are a little bit higher. Now, your base is $18, and your current, where's your sewer rate? I've lost my, it's commercial.
Proposed residential is 32.35 for 1,000 gallons.
Your commercial is 37, wait a minute. I've looked at this so many times. Commercial water. Commercial water rate. Oh, here we go, sorry. Your current sewer rate is $18. Your proposed sewer rate, base rate, which includes 1,000 gallons, is $32.35. And that's a big increase. But I went by what they were proposing also. And we've got to do something to get our sewer infrastructure up.
How
And
much
we're
are
way
we
behind on
losing?
that. Huh?
How much are we losing on average per month
On your sewer,
on everything?
you're still in the negative on the water.
At the proposed rate, we're still at the negative?
Yes. Yeah. But, and it's really hard because y'all haven't, it wasn't until this month that we actually have had people that haven't paid in over a year, or some of them 6 months, that we actually cut their water off and had them come in and actually pay it. So it's hard to determine when you're not having consistency with people coming in and paying, because all this is in arrears.
What do you think,
Thousands of dollars is in arrears.
what do you think as far as getting some sort of stable data to, you know, figure it out?
And that's what I said, I'll bring that back to you.
6 months?
No, Lori, we were ready to do an analysis.
Okay.
And then we just got bombarded with people that we cut off, that needed to be on payment plans and work with and taking their money. It's been very, very busy.
To the mayor's question, we're still gonna be under even when we raise the rates?
No, you will not be under.
Okay.
You will not be, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you meant, are we still, yes, right now you're still in the negative. You're not good right now.
But once. with
But
the
I think
proposed-
that's because we don't see a steady, income of water bills being paid. Cause if you look at the arrears, it's so high that it's hard to get a good picture, you know, of what you should be bringing in. I've tried several times, we've looked at several different scenarios to look at why. You also have water loss. You had dead meters that were sitting out there, 60 of them that I can tell you about, 60 dead meters that weren't reading. There were meters at the school district that nobody knew about, didn't know where they were, couldn't find them. That's been taken care of. So you're gonna see a huge difference. Give us a month or two, and you're gonna see a bump in your revenues, because now those meters are working. And it's my understanding that all of those had been averaged. The ones, am I right? They were all
They
averaged.
were averaging them based off their prior usage in order to bill them, so some of these accounts had that happen for a whole year. Some of them had it happen for just like 6 months, but they were averaging those during this last year, the usage. So we've gone back this last billing cycle and have been able to fix those and made them go out and find those meters. You have meters that were assigned to duplicate addresses. There's just a lot of cleanup that we're doing behind the scenes on the water department.
Well, yeah, because when we were in here, we did shut-offs twice. So I don't understand how they've gotten so far behind, because we did over, well, Lori, you can ask her, we did over 50 shut-offs. And we made sure the council all agreed that if they came in and paid a certain amount, then they could put the rest on a
Well, I
payment plan.
can answer that for you. They came in and paid, and then they never came back,
Okay.
because we talked about that today.
Mm-hmm.
We went over those, and she said, I'll tell you what happened. They did this, and then there was an agreement to come back and finish paying it, and they didn't. I mean, I had a lady that had a $1,500 water bill and hasn't paid since 2022.
Right, but then when they were supposed to be due to come back and pay, they should have been shut off.
Right.
They were supposed to note the
Right.
accounts to be shut off if they
Right.
didn't come back and pay.
But until we got ready to shut those off, we couldn't shut them off until we had good readings.
I got you.
And we had to have good data. I personally was not gonna have the water department go out and shut everybody off when I don't have good data.
Yeah, and as far as all the meters that weren't working, all of those, that's why we did an emergency purchase on those water meters, and those were all supposed to be installed a long time ago.
Some of them probably were, but we just did a new order, because they didn't have enough to fulfill the ones that came back on the report as 0 readings. So it tells us for how many months that they were not getting readings for a long period of time. Some of those are like 9 months zeros. And then the last time that you did cutoffs, I don't know what month that was in exactly. but that- August, that was the last time that it was done. So we had to get the late notice updated, because the delinquent notice that, was currently being sent out still had like Stephanie's name and stuff. There were just things, and it takes a really long time. So I had to manually do those until we could get that completed. So it was just us giving them proper notification and trying to get them on a regular routine so that they won't seem blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't wanna just, we didn't wanna just go out and cut people's water off for no good reason.
Yeah.
And we wanted to have good data. So
Right
now we do.
It's only pulling people who owe anything over $100.
Mhm.
So if you owe anything under $100, it's still not pulling those people. So you have a lot of people that are kind of in that gray area from like 50 to 100, who are just still letting it stack up as well.
Thank you.
So it's gonna take a little while. I've been here 4 months, almost, not quite. I'm trying, we're going as fast and hard as we can. But there just needed to be some things taken care of before we would do that. And I couldn't do it with a good conscience, wasn't going to, so. But now we're good, and the people that needed to be turned off, or at least come in and signed for a payment plan, that we could hold, their feet to the fire when they didn't pay. We had something in writing that said, yes, I will be back, so. And that's better than us just trying to do it just on the fly. And I didn't wanna do that at all. And so, that's where we're at right now. And it's looking better to me, looks a lot better. But I'll bring you back the analysis on each of these so you can kinda get an idea of what the users, how much of a difference it'll be between. I just wanted you to get a look at this first, get a feel for it, see if you're okay with it, if you wanna go higher, if you wanna go lower. I would suggest let's stay where we're at right now, and maybe at budget time, look at it again. We'll probably have some good, numbers as far as revenues go with the water, get a better picture of the water when we start talking at budget time too, of what we need to be doing. So, especially correcting all the meters that were dead. I was in shock that there were that many that were dead. And some of them, it just wasn't dead, the, transmitter, is what you call it. The transmitter might have been messed up, someone, whatever.
Yeah.
And all that's been worked on, and they're currently working on all those and making sure they're being done, so that's been helpful. So,
So
that's
month-
where we are with water.
So month after month, Kevin came in here and told us, oh, we were down from 100 meters that were dead to 60 to 40 to 30. Because I bought 100 meters.
Since I've been here, it's been at 60. And every month when we rent, I can speak for November, December, January. That's all I can speak for. 3 months, when we run the bill calc, I go through the bill calculations, and I can see what's dead and what's not.
Well, that was
And-
one of the things Lori,
And Lori does.
Yeah.
She goes through back behind me after I look at the bill count, and then she goes back through. And then we generate a service order to go look, because that meter didn't read, or that meter's not here, or why don't we have a reading for this address? So now all that's been cleaned up, and we've got it pretty good. I think they're just waiting on a few more meters, right? You know what you said? We had to order some extras, and so we're finding more and more that are just either outdated, old, or don't work. So replacing them.
Are we down mainly on commercial or residential meters, or is it
I
about
think
the
it's the
same?
residential that they're
Mainly residential.
more down on, yeah. So. Anything else about water? Anything you don't like?
What is the cutoff list fee of $60?
Okay, so a lot of cities do this. After we send out a notice, or after we send out your water bill, and the 15th comes around, and you still have that little bit of time in between the 15th and the cutoff notice going off, if you get it paid, you're good. If you make the cutoff list, when we run the cutoff, the actual cutoff list, we're proposing to do a $60 fee for that. Because that's getting, I mean, we've gone as far as we can go, and we don't cut off on the weekends. If the cutoff day is the last day of the month, if it falls close to the weekend, we wait and do that on Monday. But at 5 o'clock, after 5, up till 5 o'clock on the day that you hit the cutoff list, if you still come in and pay it, you're still good. But if we go to the cutoff and we head out there, it's an additional $60. It's a way of recouping all the fees. You're talking about administration fees. That's a lot of time spent doing that. It's a lot of time going through, sending out those notices, which Brittany did by hand because we didn't have a template set up within Encode. So those were done by hand. Takes a lot of time. Then we go through and we run the list. They go back through and they check. We see if anybody's paid. If they still haven't come in and paid after they made that list, we've spent a lot of administrative hours trying to get them. Plus we do door hangers on top of that. So that's a lot of time spent just trying to get somebody to come up and pay their water bill. So a lot of cities do it because they spend a lot of time doing it. And we're still doing billing in-house. So,
Are we gonna take the water bills? We were talking about doing it.
Yeah,
Out.
we're waiting until after we finish sewer averaging, to start doing third-party billing until we fix some of these errors. So right now, if we do the third-party billing, it's gonna cut our costs for billing in half that we do in-house, especially for the postage, because they have a permit, it'll give us discounted postage.
Yeah.
So Angie already has it to sign. We were just waiting until we fix some of these small errors, and then we also have Neptune 360 that we're working with and fixing errors on the back end in order for us to move forward with the transition from the contract that Kevin brought to you all about updating how they read the meters. So we're working on those things before we send it over.
Okay.
Because if we don't have those fixed, they won't be able to do what we need.
Okay.
yeah, we still intend on doing that. And then we'll do in-house processing for late notices, which won't be that much, and it won't take a whole lot of time, but we still do the door hangers as a courtesy, those kind of things. And I'm not trying to rush y'all, but we're gonna do that ribbon cutting at 6:15, so behind all the water fees, I've attached an attachment B, which is part of your fee schedule with Bureau Veritas. That y'all signed the contract in August of '23, and these are some of the fees that are gonna be incorporated into the proposed fee schedule. I need to go back over these and look at them. There's a couple of them that, for the health inspections, I don't know if you saw, I add that. That's for the mobile, that's where they do the swimming pool, that's where they do, I think that's even where they do the child care. There's child care and daycare in here as well. So that's what I wanted to point out to you. A lot of these are in Bureau, and they will do that. And we just have to set that up for them to take care of those for us. And with that, we would do like a 10% administration fee like we currently do
Okay.
on the inspections. And then moving on, behind that, you have the Godley Pavilion rental agreement. And I brought this to you because I wanted to let you know, I did talk to our insurance company about this. And there is a problem with us having bounce houses and water slides and everything. To me, if they're gonna rent the pavilion, they rent the pavilion itself. It's the pavilion. But we have people that rent the pavilion and then they take up a whole bunch of space with bounce houses and all kinds of blow-up stuff that goes out in the yard area, which goes in your park. Well, it's a liability for the city. And I asked, because in the back it talks about liability indemnification. And TML said this is pretty much not worth much. Because if they're gonna sue you, they're gonna sue you. And the best thing to do is, if someone doesn't provide insurance for you, they can go get a one-day insurance policy to cover the city and themselves for any accidents that may happen on those bounce houses or water slides or whatever. They can buy that through their own insurance company. And we could accept that, which it would be the city and them covered, so that they don't get sued. And, well, if they do, they've got insurance, and it requires a $1 million policy. It's not much. It's for one day. It's for a special event. In most city parks, if you have a special event there that's by someone else, you usually do require them to cover a $1 million policy. Because a lot of times your insurance is not gonna cover it. TML wouldn't cover it. If we had somebody on a water slide, a little kid break their leg, they can sue the city for it. And just because it says this in here, doesn't mean they can't, because they can. And like I said, I did double check with TML about that, just to be safe. So, we can talk about this more later. I'm not against bounce houses or slides, and I love them, I get in them myself. But, I think that it's a liability for the city, and it worries me. So, I'm looking into this. On the
They banned
water and
slides.
wastewater, huh?
They banned water slides by ordinance in the city park in 2020.
I can't hear you.
They banned water slides in the city park in 2020 by ordinance.
Okay. Well, it's not in this. It says, it does give them, so I need to go back and look at that. We definitely don't want those. I think we do have someone that is wanting a water slide.
Was it specifically water slides, or was it inflatables, or do you remember?
It was right after we did the park project, it was water slides, it was stakes in the ground at the city park, it was kids riding bikes, skateboards, or scooters in the
We'll
city
have to
park.
look at, we'll have to find that ordinance.
I remember all that stuff being, skateboards and bicycles. I know we changed that, didn't we? So
No.
bicycles and stuff can be rode? I thought we did. We need to.
It's just never been enforced. It's so as I quote the council then, wasn't on it, the
20.
old people have a place to walk.
2022, you said it went through? 2020?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna try to find it. Underwater and wastewater rates, I gave you kind of an idea of what we would produce and put out to everybody so they could see, like, when the cutoff list is, what day the cutoff is, those kind of things. Then
Is
I
this-
put in here about your sewer rates, because there's nothing that tells me, that, it just says that they're maintained through the master fee schedule. I did find where it talked about your months of your averaging. I just wanted to make sure you saw, that's where I got that information on your sewer rates.
Will the cutoff list dates be put online so that citizens can see that?
Yes. We're also still working on putting together a newsletter that'll go out once a month. That'll probably be on the back page of it every month. Okay, that way they can cut it off and put it on their refrigerator if they want to.
Yeah.
It'll be every month they'll get it. On further back past your water and wastewater rate study, there's an email. I just wanted to make sure you saw that the 2022 increase CPI was, I said it was 4.86%, it's 4.91. I wanted to make sure you saw that. That's where I got that information from. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but we automatically got thrown into another 5-year contract with Frontier Waste because we missed a deadline of 180 days prior to March 31st, 2024, to say whether we did or didn't want to stay with them. So it automatically bumped us in.
What was the deadline again? Sorry.
March the 31st, 2024 is the end of the agreement, but it was 180 days prior.
6 months prior.
So 6 months before.
I thought we looked at that contract and signed it off on it, no?
We
You did
signed
an
off on the
extension?
increases.
Y'all did an extension. I don't know the exact date, but you did an extension to it. Oh, no. Yeah. October of 2021. And that took you through till April of 2022. But he contacted me to let me know, and I was like, well, why are you calling me now? Because, man, you called me 6 months ago, but. So there's that information, the
So-
2.86% CPI that'll go for the garbage rates.
If we wanted to shop that around, is there a clause that, we have a penalty clause
I've already
to get
checked.
out of the contract for 5
I
years?
already checked with the attorney. I've already checked with
Yeah.
the attorneys
Well-
on that.
Ann?
Didn't we do this exact same thing a couple of years ago? Where they came through us and we didn't? How are they telling us? How are they advising us that you're gonna do this?
I just got a copy of this.
So you
He
don't-
sent it to me.
It's in the agreement. They don't tell us. Cause it happened before.
I know, and you haven't had an extension on that, is what it looks like. You had an extension. The extension ran out, and then your contract went another 5 years. Probably, and before the 5 years are up, we'll probably be going out for an RFQ. Probably in about 4 years,
So what's the penalty
because normally you do that.
to get out of the contract?
That's something I'd have to find out from the attorneys.
Oh,
I don't know.
Can you repeat, what was your
Penalty.
question?
the question was if we decide to exit the contract with Frontier, if we shop it around, what's the penalty for that?
I don't have the contract in front of me. Usually there's some sort of liquidated damages clause, or there'll be, whatever the penalties are should be in the contract. So I can look at that specifically and see
Okay.
what that would look like.
Would you, in negotiating, in general, would you strike that clause for
A
municipalities? A termination fee,
It depends on the contract, I think. Some,
for this
yes.
specific context.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the rest of it. One thing you can look at for future contracts too are not having automatic renewals and automatic extensions.
Yeah.
That's what this was. If you don't let me know by this date, it's going to automatically renew. And then if you still don't let me know after that, then you have an automatic extension. So that's something
That's a
that,
better idea.
Yeah.
that's what you would look into, is trying to have your specific termination date. And if you want to renew or if you want to cancel it, you have different language, but you could prevent an automatic renewal.
Yeah, that's
So our
what-
last contract, was it a 5-year contract as well?
Yes. Believe so.
Wow, okay.
And I don't like to use it was before I got here, but it was before I got here. Before the 180 days. I way missed that mark.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this
So-
fine, is this for 2 years? This
You
extension?
were on
5.
an extension for 2 years,
Okay.
from what I understand. But before you could go into a new contract or let them know that you were going out for an RFQ or an RFP, you would have had to notify them 180 days prior.
Okay.
So,
So how do we set it up to where we have a note that says do that.
Well, and like Lindsay said, those automatic renewals are not good to have in those
No,
contracts.
they're not.
No. And one more thing, and I'm gonna be finished. I know I went really fast because they're waiting on us. And I know I'm gonna slip this in, so close your ears for just a minute. The kiosk map that I sent you, are you good with it? Y'all good with it?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I need.
I got a question on your fee schedule, on the original schedule.
Say that again?
I got a question on your original,
Oh,
on the
okay,
original fee
Your
schedule.
current, right now?
Yes.
Okay,
Page 15 to 16,
okay,
at the bottom.
okay.
Fences over 6 feet. Says the fee is actual cost. Are we actually charging people the actual cost of their fence for a permit?
Well, here's the thing. I can't find anything that says that you have requirements on your fences.
We don't.
So I can't apply that to anything because you don't have fence requirements. Why it's here, I don't know. But
And-
if I don't have anything to stand behind it, I can't charge it. So
And
it
this-
won't be charged.
Same thing on
Right now.
in-ground pool. Says value of project.
Yes, but actually it'll be changed because BV will be taking care of that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have anything about in-ground pool, about above-ground pools? I didn't know we did.
You don't, but we are going to update the code, our building codes and all that, and we do need to adopt swimming pool codes, because you've got a lot of swimming pools that are being built in this city, a lot of them. Lots. I mean, I've never seen so many. I probably get 10, right now, I've been getting about 10 a day. That's no joke. I was like, my gosh. So, there's a lot. And it's good to, I mean, you can regulate them if you want to. You know, I think a lot of them have HOAs, so they're kind of regulated by the HOA anyways. But they're good to be inspected to make sure that you don't have someone who's, you know, gone over their building line. Or did they put the pool in our right of way? And we got utilities under it, and guess what? We're gonna tear the pool up to get to a line, you know? So, that's why we want to inspect them and permit them, only for that reason, for nothing else but that. So,
None of our increases in property taxes helps with any of these fees.
no, because these are your fees. They're, you know, these are fees for services.
So on your kiosks, how many of these are in TxDOT right away?
Say that again?
On these kiosks, how many of them are in TxDOT right away?
Oh, I don't have any idea. He just submitted this to us. Brian might be able to tell you, he did the ride-along with him.
Yeah, I drove with them, excuse me, and everything we talked about was ensuring that it was not in textile.
Like number 7 over by Corral Circle or Road Drive, whatever it is out there.
Corral.
So we don't actually have any property right there. Because Corral's not ours, it's not city limits. So that would be, number 7 should be TxDOT.
Any changes you have to that or any questions, if you'll make a note for me and send it to me, that way I can get that back to him. Anything that doesn't look right or shouldn't be there or you don't want it there.
Are the flags still out there?
Not that I'm aware of. I know I went through that really fast, but I wanted to make sure you had time to look at it again and digest it, and then we can talk about the water rates again if you need to. If you don't, then I'm probably gonna get ready to bring at least the garbage rates back to you and some of the other changes that need to be made in here for Bureau. Incorporate their fees in here with our 10% administrative fee. And then from there, we can, get the water rate public hearing notice posted and move forward with that.
Is there any other questions on the master fee schedule?
So since those rates are for 22, would it not be better for us to spend the $15,000 and get a new study done?
They're not that old. I mean, these rate studies they're really good for about 5 years if you're staying with what they're telling you to do. That's why I suggested, why don't we start with this now? At budget time, we look again. That way we're on track, because we'd be in 2024, 25 budget year. So we could pump, go up. We're really not that far behind. If it's 22, because one of them's 22 in here. So that was just, if you look at the fiscal year, it's not that far behind. That would be my suggestion. I wouldn't spend the money. I would get started with what you already paid for. Use
You're
what
gonna
you've
have
already
real
paid
data
for.
to look at.
Huh?
You're gonna have real data to look at for a P and L anyway, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Not, probably this time next year, you're gonna have really good data.
Okay.
Really good numbers to look at. And like I said, we're trying really hard to get things cleaned up so that you have something realistic to look at, as far as UB goes, and your revenues with water and sewer and those kind of things. So we want that to be cleaned up first, so we have something true. And I'm not good at I don't like to estimate. Every time I hear that, because it's just not a good practice at all. So I like to see real numbers. I don't mind playing with them and showing you different scenarios, but I want the real numbers, or it makes me too nervous. So CPAs can do that. They're good at that. Because they're real numbers people. But I like the facts. I want it in my hand. So, okay. That's all I got.
Without any questions, the work session is adjourned at 6:21.
Isn't it supposed to be out in front of the building? Yeah.
I think so too.
That's not.
I've seen anybody at their house, they have Dolores' house, actually. They showed the right of way flag stopping at the property line, so. Maybe that's as far as they'll go.
Make a mess.
Yeah.
Younger ones just come in, yeah, as they should. Yeah.
No, I even, up until
The time is now 6:34, calling this meeting to order. We have Councilmember Yarborough, Councilmember Rodriguez, Councilmember Mize, Councilmember Cornelison, and Mayor Pro Tem Pappenfuss are present. Let it be known that there is a quorum present. First, we'll be having the invocation from Pastor Arlen Landers from Movement City Church, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance after it. If you could please rise.
Almighty God, we give you thanks and praise for all your mighty works. You're loving and good and gracious. Thank you for creating us and sustaining us day by day. Thank you that you made us in your image to exist in community with other people. God, we thank you for our city. Thank you for our elected officials, the businesses, the churches, the families, and the individuals that make our city the great place that it is. Father, would you grant that our city would be known as a righteous city, a city that confesses Jesus as Lord, a city of peace and hope, a city with happy homes, a city that welcomes the stranger, a city that cares for the needy, a city that defends the innocent from evildoers. Lord, thank you for this civil government. I pray that our civil servants would acknowledge this calling and perform it faithfully. Be with our judges, our attorneys, and law enforcement. Grant that they would never neglect or abuse their authority, but they would stand firm for truth and justice. Keep them safe as they serve our community. I pray over this council meeting tonight. God, give the council members wisdom and guidance as they deliberate on the items before them. May every decision be righteous in your sight, for our benefit and for your glory. It's in the mighty name of Jesus Christ we ask all these things. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. First thing on the agenda is public input. You'll have 5 minutes to speak. Our only person signed up is Larry Axline. I will tell you when you have 1 minute left, sir.
Okay. I'll make it so short. In October, my water bill said I had a starting balance of 21,000 gallons of water. I paid that bill, and I paid the next bill next month, which was 24,000 gallons of usage. And in the following month, you put these weird numbers that are in Never Never Land on my bill and charged me 0 usage. Okay? And then this month I get a new bill, and it says I've used a starting balance for this month of 20,000 gallons, which is what I started with back in November. So now you're billing me for November and December and January, and then you're going to bill me for it again in February. All 3 months are, now my bill for this month is 26,000 gallons, which is the sum of those other 3 months. Well, I already paid you for it once. Why am I paying for it again? And this goes into the case of last summer. I went through the whole summer. They never ever bothered to read my meter. If they had done that, they would have known my meter had stopped functioning in June, because my meter never changed from June until September, when I came in and said my meter is not working, and they put in a new one. And then there's the time in 2008, 2009, when they decided not to read my meter for 3 or 4 months, and at the end of that time, I hadn't noticed it, but I got a bill for over $200 of water usage. So the question is why can't you people read the meters and update your bills? It's that simple. Somebody's got to have a responsibility to do that. That's what management's supposed to do, is keep these people doing their jobs. And yet I'm seeing here that, why am I paying 3 months of water bills again? And it's not a lot of money, but I'm not the only one, I'll bet you. So if I'm paying 3 months of water bills twice, that means that if there's 100 families in the town doing the same thing, that means you're taking an extra $2,000 a month in from people who probably can't afford it for water bills. And then you're doing this how many times a year? You see what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Okay, that's my beef. I don't know what you're gonna do about it. I'm sure you can do something to make it so they read the damn meters.
Yes, sir. They are on a schedule to read the meters monthly, correct?
They read it monthly around the 15th of the month, but if you'd like to provide me some information, I'll be happy to look at his utility bill and give him a call tomorrow morning.
It doesn't matter. I'm not concerned. I'm just saying, read the meters when you're supposed to. This is not the first time. It's many times. Why are they not reading the meters? Now they have a little automatic reader they can drive by and read it. There should be no more problems. But still, I get this.
I understand your frustration. I'll be
Okay.
happy to take a look at it.
Anyway,
Your account.
that's what I got.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
sir.
Moving on to mayor and council reports, presentations, and proclamations. Ms. Eliza Duncan is going to give us an update on the Holiday Events Committee.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Our committee of 8, we lost Sky Hamilton, who resigned in January. After the holiday event, we sent a community survey just simply asking if there were any people who were interested in volunteering. So we reached out to the 3 that had said they were interested in joining our committee, and only one of them, of the 3, responded that she would be willing to commit to our monthly meetings and assisting with events, and her name is Chantel Murphy. So I would like to ask if you would be willing to replace Sky Hamilton with Chantel Murphy. And one of the things that she can help add value to our team and with all the events that we plan is she does marketing for a living, and I think that would help us with what we do for planning the city events. So, and then, so looking forward, we have our Spring Fest planned for Saturday, March 23rd, and it's co-hosting it with the Chamber of Commerce. And right now, with the Facebook traffic, it's generated 396 engagements, meaning that the public has responded by either saying they were interested or coming. So that's a positive thing, because I don't think in the past we've ever had an engagement that high. Yesterday, we published on our Facebook page that we would accept RSVPs, just to give us an idea of how many children would be interested or could participate in the egg hunt. 12 families have already RSVP'd with 31 children, and that's only one day. So I expect with additional reminders, and the Godley ISD has also helped us because the seniors have a project at the Spring Fest event, and so they are helping us also to publish it through their channels. And I feel like if we start another post before spring break, we could see that number grow. Currently, we have already ordered 4,000 eggs. We're just wondering if that number might be higher. And then the next event after Spring Fest will be Godley Night at the Cleburne Railroaders on Friday, May 24th. Facebook event went out, and I think in the first 48 hours, we had over 100 engagements, and currently it's sitting at 173. So we're planning a brainstorm meeting to include the Chamber and Godley ISD on how to get our public to come out there. It'll be like the city of Godley taking over Cleburne, which will be fun. So we hope you will all come on Easter. We have a wonderful volunteer, Angela, who is going to be our Easter bunny. So we'll have photo ops, and then our Easter egg hunt will be from 9:30 until about 11. And that's all I have.
Do you have a new poster yet? A completed current poster we can put on the website and stuff?
Yes. And to that, we asked if, and I think Angela and Brittany are helping us do that if it's not out already, that the flyer will be sent along with water bills.
It came out.
Perfect, perfect.
So if you can,
What's, oh, sorry.
if you can send us the flyer.
Yes.
Email it to me, please.
And the banners just arrived today, so you'll see a banner go up at the fire department, and we just have to figure out the second location. It may be at the park.
What's the procedure we have in place to replace volunteers to the
We
committee?
don't have one.
Would you then get with Brittany and so she can remind us, or at
Okay.
least me?
Yes.
As Gab says, I'm old. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I think we're gonna have to put that on the agenda, Scott? Scott?
Yes, sir. I hear you.
If I remember correctly, you put them on the committee through an action on the agenda and nomination. So I think we'll have to do the same thing for the next meeting, if I remember correctly. You guys pulled names and put them in a council meeting,
Oh, we do the approvals? Oh,
I think. So
But we have to remove and then add, yes.
have to be, make sure we put it on for an agenda for next meeting.
okay. Well, we can ask for that now, can't we? We can't ask for that now? Okay.
Moving on to the consent agenda, discuss and possible action on approval of the Godley City Council minutes from the regular meeting held on February 20th, 2024. You all should have, council should have received a updated handout for the couple changes on the minutes.
So what were all the changes?
Changed the date of the meeting. Inadvertently had February 20th on the one that was emailed out instead of February 6th.
Under new business, it's instead of first, we changed from first to front of new business.
There's a couple of grammar items, and the other was the wording on item C. It's changed it to motion failed 3-2 on the vote, as opposed to motion passed, I think was the original wording.
So it's supposed to be February 6th, not February 20th?
Yes, and on the copy that you received this evening, it says the 20th. I left a copy at your desk.
So it's supposed to say the 20th or the 6th?
It's supposed to say the
Sixth.
6th.
Okay, we're looking up here.
So
Oh, I see. Okay.
correction should, we should make a correction on our notes to say February 6th on the correction.
You should, there was a copy laid at your seat of a new minutes.
Yeah, it still says February 20th.
No, he's not at the bottom, that's what I thought.
At the bottom,
Not
where it
at the
says
top, at the
you
bottom.
approved the minutes of the February 6th meeting for item A.
Gotcha.
The original one had February 20th on it. Any other discussion on the minutes?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as changed.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Cornelison and a second by Councilmember Yarborough to accept the minutes. Any further discussion? Councilman Yarborough?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to new business. Discussion, take possible action on approving resolution number 03-2024-07, appointing an election judge for the May 2024 election.
I make the motion to accept resolution number 03-2024-07.
Second.
Any further discussion? Councilmember Yarborough?
Aye.
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 Motion passes to approve resolution number 03-2024-07, appointing election judge for the May 2024 election. Item B, discussion take possible action on approving resolution number 03-2024-08, appointing a communication director for the city of Godley.
As I read this, this is to be designated by the city manager or the city secretary?
Administrator or designated.
I want myself, I would rather she bring somebody to the council, this is who I want, we vote on it.
This resolution is pointing her responsible to the council for all of this, but she's allowed to have assistance on that or task somebody to do different things. It'll be everything maintaining the website, and all social media.
Okay, that's fine, but how do we know who's doing it? Is it gonna come to us, or, I wanna know who's doing it, and make sure that if something comes up that's great, we can say, so-and-so did a great job, or hey, so-and-so missed this. Where does it say that person is brought up to us and we can know who it is and how we're gonna, introduce to us, or maybe not vote on them, but I wanna be able to know who is coming in here to do this.
This will be a city employee.
Okay,
Ms. Winkle will be responsible to the council for all actions therein, just like anything else within the city, whether it's public works or fire department. We go to Ms. Winkle if there's an issue. We don't go to the end user if there's a problem or an issue. We don't, as the elected officials, we shouldn't be going to the lowest public works person to tell them there's a problem and they did something wrong. We should be going to Ms. Winkle about this.
okay. And it will be, this person have a job title that says he's doing it?
I think it's just either Angie or whoever she.
That's fine, I just wanna know who's doing it. I don't care necessarily, I don't mind going to Angie if there's a problem and talking with her, I just wanna know who's doing it.
How about, if I make a motion to accept it and then direct staff in the motion that we will be notified if it's not Angie?
Just so we know who's doing it, so it's not hidden, it's not missed out there in someplace. I'd like to know who's taking care of this for us. Who's doing the roads for us, who's doing this and that for us, I wanna know who's doing it.
Yes, sir. Make a motion to approve resolution 03-2024-08, directing staff to notify the council of who, if not the city administrator, is the designee, the appointed designee.
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? So we have a motion by Councilmember Yarborough and a second by Councilmember Cornelison. I'm sorry, I miswriting my notes. To approve resolution number 03-2024-08, appointing a communication director for the city of Godley. And if the city administrator tasks somebody else, the council will be notified of who that person is.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Councilman Yarborough? I'm sorry, is there any further discussion?
So this presupposes that the existing accounts at Facebook are going to be moved over to the city administrator, correct?
Do you have a Facebook account I can add?
Yeah, I don't want it on my personal account, but I have one.
Alright,
Yeah,
just let me know what it is and
Okay.
you'll have it.
okay.
That
This
was
will
my-
clear up all that all that stuff about Camp Post and whatever?
I'm
This
sorry?
will clear up all the confusion on putting stuff on the city website?
The two individuals that'll post day-to-day business to the website and to our social media pages will be our city administrator and city secretary by position. As far as any emergency management stuff, for anything after hours, emergency-wise, will be delegated to the mayor's position and to the fire chief's position. Any further discussion? Councilmember Yarborough?
Aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. Do we have any items of community interest? I will jump on this one. Today is my 26th anniversary, so we're having a short meeting, and I'm going to go home and spend it with my wife. Is there any further business?
Wait, no, I'm kidding.
We need an executive session.
You still have time to take her to dinner.
Yes, ma'am. Meeting is adjourned at 6:55.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. No, she snuck in.